It was my first time in Southeast Asia. I want to say that because first times matter. First times in places mean you have no calibration. No sense of what is normal for here versus what is wrong for anywhere. I had done research. I had read the guides. I knew the general principles. Use reputable transportation. Agree on prices before you get in. Be aware of common scams. I knew the principles the way you know something from reading about it. I did not yet know them the way you know something from having actually been somewhere. I arrived at the airport after a long flight, tired in the particular way of long international travel. Not just physically tired, but the disorientation of time zones and recycled air, and the sensory load of a new country arriving all at once. The arrivals hall was busy, loud, people holding signs, taxi drivers calling out. One approached me before I had fully oriented myself. He said my hotel name. I had not said my hotel name. I had not said anything. He said it in English. Correctly. The name of the hotel I had booked. I looked at him. He said, "I take you. Good price. Safe." I want to stop here and describe my state of mind in that moment. Tired. Disoriented. A loud arrivals hall. Someone offering exactly what I needed. And saying the name of my hotel. How did he know my hotel? I did not ask that question in the moment. I should have. I said, "How much?" He named a price. It was in the range I had read about online, not obviously inflated. I said okay. I followed him. We walked past the official taxi queue, the line with the meter taxis, the legitimate transportation the airport provided, and out a side exit to a private car park. I noticed the official queue as we passed it. I told myself this was just how it worked here. Private drivers picked up near airports. This was normal. I had read about it. I had read about it as something to be cautious about. I was not being cautious. I was tired. The car was a sedan. Not marked. No meter. We had agreed on a price before I got in. That was the right thing, I told myself. The drive began normally. 15 minutes in, the driver's phone rang. He answered. Spoke in the local language. The conversation was brief. Then he said to me in English, "Small problem. Road closed. Different way." I said, "Okay." I watched my phone. The route on my Maps app was no longer matching our direction. I said, "My map shows we should have gone left back there." He said, "Map's wrong. Road closed." I looked out the window. I did not recognize anything. I had no calibration for what this city looked like, so I had no way of knowing whether we were in a reasonable area or not. I was in a foreign country in an unmarked car at night with a driver who had known my hotel name before I said a word, and who had walked me past the official taxi queue. I did the thing I should have done before I got in the car. I typed a message to the friend I was meeting the following day, a person who had been to this city many times. I described the driver, the car, the direction we were heading. I said the route had deviated and asked if there was a known road closure. My friend responded within 2 minutes. She said, "There is no road closure. Get out of that car. Tell him you need to stop at a convenience store. Get out and don't get back in." I said to the driver, "Can you stop? I need water. Any shop." He looked at me in the mirror. He slowed. He pulled over near a lit shop, a convenience store. I got out. I took my bag. I did not get back in. I went into the shop and stood at the counter and typed everything to my friend, and she called me and stayed on the phone while I waited for a metered taxi from the official stand. She directed me to 3 blocks away. I made it to my hotel safely in a metered taxi 40 minutes later. My friend explained afterward what had likely been happening. A common scheme. Someone in the arrivals hall who reads hotel names off luggage tags or booking printouts before making an approach. A driver who takes a longer route to inflate the price or, in worse versions of the situation, to a different destination entirely. The deviation from the app route had been real. The destination had not yet been confirmed as wrong. We hadn't gone far enough for me to know. But my friend had been to that city enough times to know. There was no road closure. I have traveled many times since. And every time, I used the official transportation. The queue with the meters. The app-based services that log the trip. The hotel shuttle if there is one. The extra 10 minutes of waiting at the official queue. The familiar mild discomfort of standing in a line. Against the alternative, I will wait in that line every time. Hostel culture has a specific quality that people who have experienced it understand. an openness, a willingness to talk to strangers, to share space, to trust the community of the road in a way that ordinary life doesn't produce. It is one of the genuinely good things about a certain kind of travel. It is also something that can be exploited. I had been traveling for 3 weeks. Eastern Europe, a route I had planned loosely, a few fixed points, everything between them flexible. Hostels in each city, the kind of place where you arrive and immediately connect with whoever else is passing through. The hostel in this city was well reviewed. Central location, a common room that was active every evening, people comparing routes, sharing meals, the social ease of a community built around movement. I arrived on a Tuesday. By Tuesday evening I was in the common room with a group that had pulled together around a shared dinner. A man at the table, I'll call him Marcus, he said he was from Germany, traveling independently, was friendly in the genuine way of hostel culture. Interesting background. Good conversation. He had been in the city 2 days and knew it better than I did. Over the next day and a half, he was a useful travel companion in the incidental way hostels produce. Recommendations for what to see. A coffee shop he liked. Normal. On the third night a group of us from the hostel were going out. A bar the front desk had recommended. Marcus was part of the group. Midway through the evening the larger group began to separate, some people heading back early, some staying later. The natural dissolution of a hostel group night. By midnight it was me and 2 others, Marcus and a woman I had met that morning. We left the bar together. On the walk back Marcus suggested a different route. A scenic area he said was worth seeing at night. The other woman was tired. She went directly back. It was me and Marcus. I want to tell you what I noticed in that moment. A familiar city instinct, the kind I would have trusted at home without question, trying to surface through 3 weeks of hostile openness. Something slightly off about the suggestion. The route he described added distance. The scenic area he mentioned was in the opposite direction from the hostel. I said, I'm actually pretty tired. I'm going to head back. He said, it's not far. Worth it. I said, maybe tomorrow. I'm going back. Something shifted in him. Subtle. The specific shift of something accommodating becoming something else. He said, I'll walk you back then. I said, I'm good. I know the way. I walked toward the hostel. He walked with me. I said, I'm fine walking alone. He said, it's late. Safer together. We were 2 blocks from the hostel. I did not argue further. I walked. He walked. At the hostel door I said goodnight. I went inside. I made sure the door closed behind me. I went directly to the front desk. I told the night staff what had happened. The route suggestion. The insistence on walking me back. I said, I might be wrong. But something felt off. The staff member, a young woman who had clearly heard things in this role before, said, You're not the first person to mention him. He's been here 4 days. Someone else flagged something yesterday. I'm going to call the manager. I gave a full account to the manager that night. By morning Marcus had checked out. The manager contacted the hostel's network, a chain with properties across the region, and flagged the name and description. 2 weeks later I received an email from the manager. The name Marcus had checked in under had been flagged at 2 other properties in the network. Both times, female travelers who had reported uncomfortable interactions. Neither had reported formally. Until mine. The hostile culture of openness, the thing that makes it special, is worth protecting. But openness is not the same as the suspension of your instincts. Your instincts travel with you. They are the one piece of home calibration you carry everywhere. When they surface in a foreign city, trust them at least as much as you trust them at home. More maybe, because at home you have backup. Out there, your instincts are often all you have. The rental looked exactly like its photographs. That is the first thing I want to say. It was not a scam. It was not misrepresented. It was a genuinely beautiful stone cottage in rural Portugal. The kind of property that draws people who want something more authentic than a hotel. Isolated. Quiet. A working farm nearby. A village 3 kilometers down the road. I was traveling with a friend. 2 of us. We had rented it for 5 nights. The owner, a Portuguese man who communicated through the booking platform, had given us a lockbox code for the key. Standard. Self-check-in. He lived in Lisbon. He was not local to the property. We arrived in the afternoon. The property was everything it was supposed to be. We settled in. Made dinner. Went to bed early from the travel. The second day we explored the area, the village, the surrounding countryside. In the village we met several local people, the kind of brief, warm interactions that rural travel produces. A woman at the bakery, a man at the small market. One man, at the market, asked where we were staying. I said we were renting a property nearby. He asked which one. I described it generally, the area, not the specific address. He nodded, said it was a nice property, said he knew it. We went back to the cottage. That evening, as the light faded, I noticed something. The property's front gate, which had been closed when we arrived, was open. I was certain we had closed it behind us. My friend was less certain. We closed it. We went inside. In the morning, the gate was open again. We had both gone to bed before midnight. We had not used the gate after closing it. I walked the property perimeter. In the soft dirt along the back fence line, boot prints. Not ours. Someone had walked the fence line. Recently. The prints were fresh. I contacted the property owner through the booking platform. He said he had not been at the property. He said no one should be accessing it. I asked if there were any local caretakers or workers who had access. He said there was a local man who sometimes helped with maintenance, but that he had not authorized any visit. I asked for the man's contact information. He provided it. The name he gave me was the name of the man from the village market, the man who had asked which property we were staying in, who had said he knew it. I called the owner back immediately. I said, "The man whose name you gave me, he was at the village market yesterday. He asked where we were staying. Now there are boot prints along the back fence of the property. I need to understand what his access to this property actually is." A long pause. The owner said he would make a call. He called back 20 minutes later. He said the man had been told there was no authorized visit. He apologized. He said it would not happen again. I said, "I appreciate that. But we are two people alone in a rural property in a country we don't know. And someone associated with this property walked its perimeter last night. I need you to understand why that is not something an apology resolves for us." We left the following morning. The owner refunded our remaining nights without argument, a fact I noted as a man who understood the gravity of what had happened. What I carry from that experience is specific. When staying in rental properties, particularly rural or remote ones, ask the owner directly, who has access to this property? Is there a caretaker? Are there local workers with a key or code? Get the answer before you need it. And if someone in the area asks where you're staying, be vague. In a city, that vagueness is instinctive. In a rural village where the conversation feels friendly, and the bakery smells good, and the light is golden, and everything feels like the best version of travel, the instinct relaxes. Don't let it relax entirely. Know who has access to where you're sleeping. Before you sleep there,